This man filmed himself committing sexual crimes against women over and over again. Oh, hi there, stranger. Today I'm going to be telling you about the case of Craig France. Viewer discretion, as always, is advised, but extra trigger warning. This is a deeply disturbing case that is all about sexual crimes. So if you want to skip, as always, I totally understand. But if you're staying with me, then let's get to it. The nightlife in Peterborough is lively, the club scene is busy, and it seems like people like to party. The music, dancing, just the general atmosphere of a nightclub is intoxicating to some, a chance to let your hair down and dance all your stress away. Sooner or later, if you go enough, you'll get to know some faces and maybe even make some friends. Parties will continue on long after the clubs have closed their doors, invariably back at someone's house, specifically in the kitchen. And Peterborough was no different, a particular set of faces and the same kind of routine. Craig France was a clubber, he liked to party, but he was actually there for a very different reason to most, but that would not become apparent for a very long time. He worked as a truck driver, and when he wasn't travelling, he seems to have been partying. By the age of 33, he was a regular on the scene, a friendly, approachable guy. He would buy everyone drinks, and he had no issues taking the party back to his own flat. It wasn't uncommon for people to gather back at France's flat, and so after some time he became kind of a trusted figure. Unbeknownst to those who frequented France's flat, or at least the women, he was a predator of the worst kind. And it all started to come out in August 2024 when a woman reported Craig France to the police for rape. The incident had occurred some 2 years prior, but she had only just been made aware of it. Let that sink in, strangers. She had been raped by somebody she considered a friend, and she didn't even know about it. And that is because France had a particular MO. He would target women who were totally out of it, or on the brink of unconsciousness, or full on unconscious. And so the woman had had no idea what had happened to her until it was brought to her attention. And like me, you're probably wondering, how was it brought to her attention? Surely this guy is not going around raping and assaulting women and then confessing to it. No, it's much worse than that. He was assaulting these women and filming it and sharing those videos on WhatsApp group chats to friends, to family members. He had numerous hidden cameras all throughout his flat filming all of his crimes. He would buy small, easy to hide cameras and set them up in places where it would be hard to notice them. And this would all come to light after the 2024 report. He was arrested in the September, and then the police confiscated all of his devices, where they would find over 6,000 images and videos. Needless to say, they did not bail him. As police realised the extent of his crimes, they started trying to identify his victims. They believed there were more than 20 at that point, and that was without viewing everything. France initially denied all claims against him, but the evidence against him just kept growing and growing. And then they formally charged him. He had been charged, he applied for bail, and the courts granted it. Even with all the images and videos, and by now 4 women who had confirmed the assaults against them. The issue was around consent, and that's what the defence used to get bail. They said he had previous good character and that this was a witch hunt. And do you know, strangers, how many times we are bitterly disappointed by the failings of the police? But I am very pleased to tell you that this is not one of those cases. The police were equally disgusted that he had been granted bail and, nervous of what he could do when he was out. He could intimidate witnesses or continue with his criminal behaviour. And they believed that he was manipulating the court the same way that he had manipulated his victims. These officers basically did everything that they could to ensure that Craig France remained behind bars. They went to the court and appealed his bail, and thankfully they won. It is, of course, shocking to learn that the court was going to grant France bail, but I'm just so thankful that the police appealed it and kept him inside. They had been trawling through his videos and discovered one of France naked beside his shoes, standing on a public road, touching himself. And as much as it might seem to you or I that that is nothing in comparison to the videos of him assaulting the women, That kind of behaviour often precedes much more serious conduct, as seen in the case of Wayne Couzens, the police officer who raped and killed Sarah Everard. Exposure in a public area or setting is a real indication of much more serious sexual criminal behaviour to come. And so, based on that video, the courts accepted the appeal by the Cambridgeshire Police, and Craig France stayed in prison. Amongst those videos was one of France dragging an unconscious woman across the outside patio of a house. He was asked in a group chat to send that video over. The person said, quote, "I want to show it to mum." France sent the video and got a reply, "LOL, she laughed." Another image he had sent was of a bloodied, unconscious woman, and the reply he got to that, "It looks like a classic grape scene. Blood, she is out of it," which of course is exactly what it was, as one of the officers rightly pointed out. Not one of those people reported Craig France. They didn't call him out, try to stop him, nothing. What a shame the police couldn't confiscate their devices also, because it makes me wonder if they were up to the same sort of sick stuff. They didn't seem to have an issue with him doing it. During their investigation, the police found out that France was expelled from school as a young teenager for sexualized behaviour. He was touching both male and female students in their private areas, exposing them by pulling down their clothes and that kind of extreme behaviour. Other than that and one driving offence, France didn't have any previous records, no indications of the crimes that he would go on to commit. And the women he was doing this to, those poor ladies, they weren't made aware until after the event. Their images, their bodies had been shared around people's screens like it was nothing, and it robbed them of their dignity. One of these ladies told police France was her friend. She was gay, he knew that, she didn't have to worry around him. They told her of a video that featured her in which France was doing disgusting things to her, and she just broke down, that poor woman. The betrayal, the indignity, I can't imagine. Some of them feel guilty, some of them feel betrayed, but all of them feel robbed of their trust for men, you know? One of them said he took everything from her, that she'll never go to the clubs ever again, she'll never trust a man, and she'll never feel comfortable in her own body. It's not just the act that they have to deal with, it's the fallout, and that will stay with them forever. And that's why what I'm about to tell you is going to make your blood boil like a quick kettle. By February 2025, the police were really building a mountain of evidence against him. This was going to be a giant of a case. And so France offered to plead guilty to 1 count of rape, sexual assault, 3 counts of voyeurism and exposure, and CPS accepted. And even though he was described as a toxic, misogynistic danger to women, his guilty plea meant a reduced sentence. He got 10 years and 7 months. He not only robbed these women of their peace, their trust and their dignity, he took away their opportunity to go to trial, to say their piece and see justice done. The police still don't even know the extent of this man's offending, and they believe that there are many more victims. Whew, strangers, what a case. My heart goes out to all of those women, all of his victims, and I hope that they know that they should feel proud of themselves for speaking out and coming forward. On the flip side of that coin, I think it's a shame that we can't expose the people that were on the group chats with France, the ones that were laughing and making derogatory comments about his victims. What a shame that we can't name and shame them. The family members being in the know, I can't get past that one message. "I want to show mum. LOL, she laughed." Like, I thought mum has to be a code name. They can't mean mum like mother. I don't know, strangers. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And before I close this out, guys, girls, whoever, if you see your friend or you know that your friend has done something like this, call it out, report it. Don't laugh it off. It's not a joke. And again, I just wanted to highlight what a fantastic job the Cambridgeshire Police did on this case. Amazing work. Not that that means anything coming from me, but I was impressed. And as always, strangers, if you've stayed with me up until now, then thank you for watching.